Hello, Facebook friends. Happy Friday. I feel like every time I come on a live, it's like Friday Night Live. That just so happens to work out that way. But I wanted to hop on and tell you something that I've been thinking about for a while, or wanting to do a live on for a while, before I head out to sushi with my family. So that could prove a little bit interesting because I just started Whole30, was it 4 days ago, and we're going to have sushi. So I have to find options at a sushi restaurant that I can eat that are Whole30-ish. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Really quickly before I get into our value tonight, I am going to share this to a group really quickly. And okay, good. Looks like I am live. If you're watching or live, say hi so I can see who's watching and interact with you. And then if you are watching by replay later on, which most of you probably will, say replay, and that way it will pop back up in my feed. I love to see who is seeing these lives, and I can engage with you that way even after the fact. So let me share this to a group. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Ashley Samadani. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mama, in fact, and kind of like, as one of my mentors says, a serial entrepreneur, serial mompreneur. My mission is, well, one of my missions is to help other women and men, but mostly women, to discover their potential and their purpose. And that's why tonight's topic is so very dear to my heart. And this topic is going to be mindset. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can develop a growth mindset. And I'm going to tell you why you would want to have a growth mindset versus the other kind of mindset, which is fixed. So we're going to talk all about that. I hope it brings you tons of value and actual things that you can kind of take away with you tonight, into this weekend, and for the rest of your life maybe. So I see, hey Lauren, hey Rebecca, hey ladies, nice to see you on here, so fun. Where is everyone tuning in from? So if you're watching live or replay, let me know where you're tuning in from. State, city, probably state, I guess. Unless you're in California, then tell me your city because I'll know what that is. I'm in California myself, up near Sacramento. Okay, and I'm going to be looking at my notes because I've got a lot of things that I want to tell you, and I want to tell you in an order that's going to make sense in all of those things. So, all right, so first of all, mindset. Did I make this up? No, this is based on the research of a woman named Carol Dweck. She's a professor from Stanford, and this is the book that she wrote. It's called Mindset, and some of you may have read it. If you have, drop a 1. So if you've read Mindset, drop a 1. This is a book that back when I was a teacher, so now this was probably, when I first read this book, it was over 10 years ago, right around 10 years ago, and we read it as part of our professional development as teachers, not only for ourselves as educators, but to deliver to our students. And so in my study skills class, for those of you who don't know, I used to teach special education, taught special education for 9 years, and I had a kind of a study skills type of class for my middle schoolers, and so we would talk about mindset, having a growth mindset. So I've read this a couple of times, and now, flash forward 10 years, I'm reading it all over again and reflecting on it with new eyes, looking at mindset as far as how to become a better overall person, how to become a better wife, a better mom, a better business partner, a better leader, and all of those things. So I want to share with you kind of a more global view of how I'm seeing this mindset and how we can apply it and why we would want to. I see Rose is on. Hey, Rose. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. First, let's talk about the difference between the 2 types of mindset. So there is fixed mindset and there is growth mindset. And you can kind of go back and forth between the two, kind of depending on the time of life. I know I have, and I've been in both mindsets. Right now, I'm definitely in a growth mindset, and I'm fighting to keep myself there. So really, these tips I'm going to share with you tonight, I'm preaching to myself too, because we all fight against these fixed mindset pieces to ourselves. So let's talk about fixed mindset just briefly. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to read you kind of a list of feelings, or feelings are things you may have said before. If you've said any of these or thought any of these things, I want you to be honest and put a little raised hand emoji. Okay, just, the little, there's, characters with a raised hand, or just a hand. Okay, so if you've ever felt in life like you were stuck, you were just stuck, raised hand emoji. If you ever have felt inadequate when you compare yourself to others. So at any point in life, if you've come up feeling inadequate when you compare yourself to others. If you've ever felt the need to prove yourself, so to prove yourself in any way, kind of like a driving need to prove yourself. And I see some raised hand emojis. Thank you all for being honest. I'm literally raising my hand for all of these. This is a list of things I've personally felt or said at some point in life. If you've ever pushed back on someone kind of, or deflected criticism towards someone else. So say something went wrong for you, or it's not going quite right. Have you ever deflected that onto someone else, or kind of pushed back on criticism? I know that's something that I've really done in the past, is pushing back on criticism. Like, oh, I can't hear that. That's part of the fixed mindset, and we're going to talk about it. Have you ever given up rather than pressed through a challenge to a reasonable extent, right? Given up rather than pressed through a challenge. Or have you ever not started something because you were afraid to fail? Me, many times, right? Have you ever found yourself kind of constantly seeking validation from others? If so, raised hands. So again, any of those, no judgment zone, because I've been there for all of those at one point. So last but not least, have you ever said, well, it's just the way I am. That's just the way I am. It's the way I've always been. It's the way I always will be. If you've ever said anything of the sort, raised hand emoji, or just know in your head, all right, so that could be fixed mindset. If you've been in any of those places, felt those things, said those things, you were most likely experiencing the fixed mindset. So fixed mindset kind of assumes that our character and our intelligence are just that. They're static. They're fixed. The fixed mindset assumes that those things, our intelligence, our abilities, are kind of just given, and you can't really do much with them. If you have high abilities, then you should always be expected to perform this certain way. If you don't, you see yourself as a failure. Or if you have lower abilities, you're not willing to put effort forward to increase those abilities because you don't really believe in your heart of hearts that they can be developed. And this goes for personal characteristics. This goes for, things with work, relationships, all of the above. So the fixed mindset, I'm looking at my notes again, so I tell you everything I want to tell you. So fixed mindset kind of creates a constant need for validation of abilities. Like, well, I'm smart, so I should be able to do this really easily, right? And then if you can't, it's like, okay, someone validate me. So that's a fixed mindset. And if this is sounding, again, raise hand emojis if any of this is like resonating with you. Again, I'm preaching to myself. These are all things at some point in my life, in my career, in my relationships that I felt when I'm speaking on these things. Fixed mindset also leads to, not taking risks due to fear of failure. I'm not good at relationships. I've failed at relationships before, big time, so I'm not going on that first date. Obviously, that example is not current. But not being good at something, so I'm not going to give something a first shot. I'm not going to make that step. Not attempting or starting things that we don't think we'd be good at given our abilities. One of my businesses is a social marketing business, and I have a team, and I hear all the time when I'm talking to people who are super interested in doing that part of what I do, they're like, well, but I can't do sales. I can't do sales. Well, I don't have a sales background, and I'm doing okay. So there's always that piece where with fixed mindset, we're scared to try something that we don't think we're good at. Okay, so that's fixed mindset. If that's you, if that's sounding like you at any point in your life, I hope this is making sense. If you're tracking with me, give me some hearts, pound the little heart button or like button, and let me know that you're hearing what I'm saying. So, okay, so growth mindset. Now, in contrast, growth mindset, and then I promise I'm going to give you those 5 tips for how to develop that growth mindset. And right now, I am just pouring this stuff into myself. I'm personally developing myself, which we all should be doing every day to become the best versions of ourselves, right? But I am constantly pouring in mindset stuff because I'm trying a lot of things and I'm doing a lot of things, and a lot of things are in the works that honestly, legitimately really do kind of freak me out. I'm like, well, I don't know if this is going to work out, but with the positive growth mindset, I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone and try those things. But I'm going to fight back that fixed mindset, those fixed mindset pieces of me that can hold us back in life, in relationships, in confidence, and all of these things. Constantly pushing growth mindset in your classroom. Yes, Thank goodness for teachers like you, Jen. Mindset is so huge for students. It's their perception of their abilities to learn, in essence. So growth mindset, yeah, it's essentially your ability to view your intelligence and personal qualities as things that can be developed. If you hear nothing else tonight, it's that. If you can get into a growth mindset, that is where you're going to be believing that your intelligence and your personal qualities can be developed. It's all about effort put in toward those things and a belief that you can grow in anything given effort toward those things and given positive action forward. And I'm going to give you some tips for how to get yourself into that mindset. Growth mindset, I'm reading I love, this was actually a quote, I believe. Yes. Growth mindset thrives on challenge and sees failure not as evidence of being unintelligent or not able to do something, but as a springboard for growth and stretching our existing abilities, which I love. I love that the possibilities are endless for us in life in all areas, dependent upon the amount of effort we're willing to put in. It's pretty exciting. It's actually super exciting. All right, so why should you care? Why should you care to get into a growth mindset? Well, for many reasons, but I'm going to give you an illustration. I actually posted this in my stories. How many of you punch hearts if you watch people's Facebook stories? I'm getting really into watching Facebook stories because I feel like people share more of like the real deal there. So if you're a Facebook story watcher, give me some hearts and just show me that you too are a Facebook story watcher. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I posted in my story a graphic that I stole from actually one of my business partners, and she had posted this graphic and it had I wish I had, I do. This is not going to be cute at all. So here's this, and then here's this, right? This is you, and this is your comfort zone. And then, I'm sorry. Here's your comfort zone. The mirror is your comfort zone. And this is something. And guess what this is? Well, this is the magic. And guess what? It's outside of your comfort zone. So you are way more likely, and I need to uncross my arms. You are way more likely to go here and experience amazingness outside of your comfort zone if you're in a growth mindset and you're willing to fail and you're willing to accept challenges and you're comfortable with that and you have this mindset that we're going to get you into more. You're going to be more able to experience everything that you've ever wanted, which lies right outside the edge of your comfort zone, which that was the saying, and I totally butchered that, but hopefully you're tracking. If you are, can you please give me some likes and hearts? Okay. All right. Okay, 5 things that you can do. 5 things that you can do starting today, starting tonight. If you want to take out a pen and paper and jot them down, please do. But these are the 5 things that you can do to develop your own growth mindset. And again, I am not like 100 growth mindset girl. Like I definitely work on these things daily. And so I don't want anyone to think that I'm just like, I'm Carol Dweck. I'm like the mindset queen. I know all of this. No, but I really want to share things that are valuable to you and that can impact and encourage and inspire you to develop, to do great things in any area of your life. This is not specific to one business. This is not specific to one gender. This is not specific to anything. This can be applied across the board and your life will be changed and your confidence will be changed. So, hey, Tiffany. Oh, hey, Tiff. All right, you guys. So, number 1, become super self-aware. The first thing that you need to do to develop a growth mindset is to become super self-aware. And that means assessing yourself and taking a hard look and accepting both your strengths, things that you're good at, your gifts and your talents, as well as your weaknesses and your imperfections and the things that you feel insecure about. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. What I don't want anyone to do is to equate weaknesses or relative weaknesses to like making those into your insecurities or excuses. Everyone's not really good at everything, right? But what you can do is become super self-aware, look at those weaknesses that you have, and then develop those things. And you can actually make them your strengths. I'm going to use a good friend of mine and actually my biz bestie, if you saw me post on Instagram, this is Kiri, she and I are working on a really exciting project. Actually, it's the one that's kind of scary. And she is hands down the best person at time management that I personally know. And I see Carrie just hopped on. I'm just talking about you, girl. So Carrie is a time management guru in my eyes and in many people's eyes. She's actually a coach. She has an entire business around time management. So it shocked me to hear from her. She told me the other day, because we were talking about these very things, and she's like, you know what? In fact, you wouldn't necessarily know this now, but time management is something that is actually one of her weaknesses. But guess what she did? Because she has a growth mindset, she took that weakness and she honed it, she refined it, and she built upon that. And now it's like a total super strength. So getting into growth mindset is looking at your weaknesses and then hammering away and putting forth effort to develop those things. And that's so exciting, because think of the possibilities if you not only capitalized on your strengths and your talents and your gifts, but if you also brought in those weaknesses and you really learned how to develop those into relative strengths as well. I mean, it's super exciting. For example, and I was going to give you an example, but I don't know if we'll have time. No, I won't. I think that's enough on point number 1, because we do have 4 more and I want to be respectful of your time. But really, point number 1, become acutely aware of your strengths and your gifts and use those and actually use them. Make positive efforts forward, but also assess and look at your weaknesses and your imperfections, and do not see them as, and don't make them your insecurities. Do not use those as your excuses. You work on those, develop those things. You never know where those things might lead. It's crazy. I'm so excited for our big, yeah, I am too. I was talking about that earlier as one of the driving forces behind all of this mindset talk, because mindset is everything and growth mindset is everything. Okay, number 2. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Number 2 and number 3 kind of go hand in hand. But number 2 is view challenges as opportunities. Okay, so I know, kind of simplistic, right? But how often do we really do this in life? Looking at our challenges as our opportunities. If life was just easy breezy and chugging along and we never did anything challenging, we would not grow as people in any area. We wouldn't learn how to be better parents. We wouldn't learn how to be better spouses. We wouldn't learn how to be better colleagues, better business partners, whatever it might be, if it weren't for challenges. So when you face a challenge, one way to get into a growth mindset is to think about those things as challenges and then take positive action again and again and again. If you think about, think about athletes. Think about athletes and all of the, in order for them to get better, how many times they have to take the same actions and practice over and over and over again over time to get really good and master their sport. It's the same thing. When you have a challenge, look at it as an opportunity and a chance to practice and to get better and to work and put in effort. If something doesn't work out in your life, it's not going the way that it should, it's not going the way that you wanted it to, a good way to get into the growth mindset is just to look at that and say, okay, how can I become better from this? I can tell you one thing, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've failed a lot of times in all areas across the board, relationships, work, life. We all have, right? If we're being honest. But the times when I have grown the most and become the person that I am today are all through the most challenging times of my life. And because of choosing to take action toward reflecting on that, learning from those experiences, and taking positive forward action. So for me, on a daily or weekly basis, I'm looking to fail, because I know if I'm failing, I'm trying new things. I'm doing something new. I'm challenging myself to be more than I am the day before. So number 3 goes hand in hand with number 2. So if number 2 is helpful, view challenges as opportunities as part of developing your growth mindset. Drop a number 2 in the comments, and then we're going to move to number 3. Okay. Number 3, I love this one. And this is something that I used to tell my students. It's replace the word failing with learning, because verbiage is so important and it's so powerful, right? The words that we choose to tell ourselves or to frame things really have a lot of power, probably more power than we give them credit for. Replace the word failing with learning. So when you make a mistake or you fall short of a goal, you haven't failed, you've learned something. It's as simple as that. That is true. You're not tricking yourself or anything like that. If you failed at something, don't think of it as a failure. It's a learning experience. It's something you learned and you're going to do it differently next time. It's just that simple. I feel like sometimes the fear of failure is what holds people back the most from doing things that could quite literally change their lives, quite literally. And the people that you see sometimes, at the top of their game in any area, it's the people who are willing to fail and knew that that's part of the process. And those people most likely have a great growth mindset. So yeah, I guess that was really all for number 3. So just taking time to reflect on your mistakes and just fail forward, just replacing that word failure with learning and reframing your train of thought. That will definitely help develop a growth mindset and get you out of the I failed, so I'm a failure. That's the fixed mindset voice. I failed, so I am a failure. No, I failed. Things didn't go the way that I wanted them to. And I'm learning. I'm learning from that. I'm becoming wiser. I'm becoming stronger. I'm becoming better. That is a way that you can definitely develop growth mindset. Hey, Jen. Okay, Jen says number 3. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, I was just going to ask if number 3 was valuable to you. Put a number 3 in the comments. Or if number 3 is something that you're going to work on and you're going to do, replace the word failing with learning, put a number 3 in the comments. I think that one's really powerful. I also think number 4 can be super powerful. And this is something I learned from watching a TED Talk of the author of this book. So Carol Dweck, again, she's psychology PhD at Stanford. So obviously she knows her stuff, so I'm going to listen to what she says. And she said one of her favorite phrases is not yet. So using the phrase not yet and embracing that will definitely get us more into a growth mindset. So for example, if you're struggling with something or you're facing something that you're not sure you can do, just remind yourself that you're not there yet, but you can and you will be given enough time and given enough effort. It's just as simple as that. And worst case scenario, remember, if you fail, you didn't fail, you're not a failure, but you're going to learn something from that and you're going to become even more awesome than you were as you reflect and take action forward. So, for example, are you making 6 figures yet? Not yet. Are you at the pinnacle of your career? No, not yet. Can you back squat your body weight? Not yet. Do you have the marriage of your dreams? Not yet. But all of those things, you can say, I will. Not yet, but I will. So using that like, no, I don't. Replacing that with not yet, because in the growth mindset, given enough effort and given enough time, you can really do anything. You can develop anything. So using the phrase not yet can be really powerful. It's not looking at ourselves as like, I can or I can't do this. It's not that black and white. I love that phrase, not yet. So that's one that I'm going to personally start doing more of, is adding the word, at least in my mind, not yet. So when I'm thinking about these large, big dreams and goals that I have and things that I'm working on and we're working on, I'm going to be in my mind thinking, okay, am I able to do XYZ to perfection? Not yet. No, I never do anything to perfection, but to, X standard. Not yet, but I will eventually. And it kind of takes the pressure off and it helps you to enjoy the process of developing more in any area. So similar to our conversation. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I'm preaching to myself. Everything that I share with you all here on Facebook is always because I needed to hear a word from it and then I just took it and ran with it. So this whole thing is for me and for you. Okay, number 5. And this one is like just a gratuitous number 5, and it sort of relates to a way that you can develop your growth mindset, but it's also just a life hack. And here it is. Number 5, stop seeking other people's approval. Just stop. Stop. I mean, that really is the key to life and happiness and confidence and success, is to just stop seeking people's approval. If you're prioritizing getting other people's approval over just taking forward action, you're sacrificing your own potential for growth. So stop seeking other people's approval. Other people's approval and other people's opinion of what you're doing or not doing really isn't their business anyway. So don't wait for someone to validate your efforts. Just make those efforts and know that this is part of your process. This is part of your own growth. So number 5, just don't seek other people's approval, or stop waiting for that, I guess I'm saying. Okay, so if number 5, okay, I see people are like, number 5, woo woo, right? I honestly, hand to God, think that that's the key to success. I really do. The people that can just let go of that, let go of seeking the approval of others or caring about their opinions, are the ones that are able to excel in things because they can focus, right? So, in summary, here are the 5 ways that you can develop a growth mindset and therefore really up-level your life and up-level your confidence and get you to get out of your comfort zone and get over here right on the edge of it where all the magic happens and where all the cool stuff happens. You're more likely to get here if you develop a growth mindset. So number 1, become super self-aware, okay? Aware of both your strengths and your weaknesses. Number 2, view challenges as opportunities, not as like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? View it as an opportunity. Number 3, replace the word failing with learning. So instead of, oh gosh, I fail, or what if I fail? I'm going to be a failure. What if I fail? What can I learn? Okay, so replace fail with learn, failing with learning. Number 4, use the word yet or not yet. Watch that Carol Dweck TED Talk. If you search Carol Dweck mindset yet, you'll find it. It's really good. So use the word yet for things that you can't yet do, but you will. And then number 5, stop seeking approval from others and just do the work, put in the effort, and stop caring about what other people think. And trust me, you're gonna be a lot happier for it. Okay, I think that's really all I wanted to share with you, but I do think, I mean, to me, this is the key. And I know I may be preaching to the choir. You may be like, Ashley, this is the most basic thing you've ever talked about. But it is the most basic thing I've ever talked about, because if you have a growth mindset, your possibilities are limitless. The things that you can do are, I'm telling you, the things you can do are pretty darn limitless in your relationships, in your work, as a parent, in this world. They are limitless. It's really all about getting rid of your limiting beliefs about yourself and kind of shifting some things in mindset to allow for you to open your eyes to your own possibilities. So yes, this may be quite basic, but it's something that I know for me, I've gotten really down in certain parts of my life. I'm like, oh, I'm in this growth mindset. I can do anything. I'm making forward action. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm looking at, I'm failing forward, looking at failure as learning opportunities. And then like a year later, I kind of get back off track. So maybe there's someone that's watching tonight that has gotten a little off track. And I hope this gets you back on and realizing how important it is to pour into yourself and make sure that you're in that growth mindset so that you can really fulfill your potential and your purpose in this world, whatever that is for you. We all have a different one, right? And that's what gets me so excited about watching people discover that and discover that potential and discover that purpose, and then just start putting effort towards that. It's super exciting, and I'm seeing that around me a lot lately. And it's great. So anyway, I hope you found some value in this video. If you did and you want to share it, please do. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comments. You can always reach out to me via Messenger. If you like this type of content, so if this is your jam, you're into mindset, you're into personal development, you're into kind of positive vibes, up-leveling your life, mental, spiritual, physical, like all the things, then you'd probably love our new community. It's a free group. It's called Tailor Made Best Life. Some of you are in it. That's the group I shared this video to. Please feel free to join us. It's new, so it's not full of content yet, but I just uploaded like a workout plan in there, stuff on mindset, affirmations, all kinds of good stuff. So good, positive stuff. We need more of that on the internet, and that's a little cozy corner where you can get some of that. So Tailor Made Best Life, I don't think I put it in the description, but I'm going to link it down in the comments and you can click through and join. It is closed. You have to click in, but I'll accept you. Don't worry. All right, you guys. So have a great weekend. Again, I'm still open to those Whole30 approved sushi restaurant suggestions because I have no idea what I'm going to eat and I don't like raw fish. So I guess my options are like uber limited. But if you have suggestions for paleo sushi ideas, drop them in the comments below. Other than that, hope you all have a wonderful evening and a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.